Hello, ProBots fans, and welcome to the last day of games before the finals take place next week. Tonight, 2 more bots will be eliminated, leaving the top 4 of our 16 bots from this season to fight it out again next Saturday, September the 12th, here on ESChamp. So be sure to tune in and tell everybody that you know that the ProBots Grand Finals is going down, because it is going to be amazing. But before we get started tonight, we'd like to thank all of our bot authors for giving us such an entertaining season. It has been just absolutely amazing, and for putting so much work and effort into your bots. We really appreciate it, and we really look forward to doing another season this year. So if you are an aspiring bot maker, be sure to get those resources. I believe there's some links in the description below for that. And if you haven't already, be sure to check those links so you can join our forum and stay up to date with everything going on here on ESChamp. And as always, a big thank you to our Crown Club for their continued support. And if you would like to join the Crown Club and receive some behind-the-scenes content as well as some members-only perks, make sure you check out that link below, and you can find out how. But now, it is time for ProBots. Thank you, Matthew, author of Worthless Bot, and thank you to all of our Crown Club members for your continued support. That is just awesome. And joining me today is none other than EnderSword. Yeah, you. What's up, buddy?
Oh, yeah, not too much. I'm all hyped. We're getting down to the end of it here. I'm eager to see who's going to pull it out. We get a lot of good matches today. I've got my hand warmer ready just in case I have to do something. But yeah, it's going to be pretty good. I bet the bots have to use these a lot with the 80,000 APM.
Oh yeah, they're definitely wearing out their gears or something there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, we've got some amazing matches tonight. We're going to be doing 3 best of 3s. So we've got MadAI versus MicroMachine coming up first, followed by Tier versus Jensiiibot, and then the winner of both of those matches will go up against each other to find out who will be moving on to our round of 4, essentially. And that is again next Saturday, September 12th, here on ESChamp. So be sure you all tune in here. So yeah, we're going to take a look at our games tonight. 2 of these bots will not be moving on, EnderSword. Who do you think it's going to be?
It's a shame. I think one of those graphics might be wrong, and 2,
the wrong one.
I think one of them said Spud, but I think that one's the Tier one, right?
Yeah, it should be Tier versus Jensiiibot.
I'm not sure. I guess if I had to pick one of the 4, maybe MadAI.
To move on or to get dropped?
To get dropped. If I had to pick one, but I don't know. MicroMachine still remains very, very, very strong, and I don't know if they've made updates this week.
They did actually a whole lot. I was reading in the one of the discords. The authors, Raph and Unusual, both made an extensive list of changes, and they're a little worried. They didn't do a whole lot of testing, they said, so they're a little worried that
they always
break.
That, though.
Yeah, they always worry.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of changes. All 4 bots have been updated for tonight, so we are going to be seeing some new things, and we'll talk about all those updates as these games commence. But we'll be getting that first match or first round loaded up. Did we get the right graphic? Did it ever show? Does it?
Yeah, probably. Let's look at the winners bracket here first, and we'll see kind of how we got here. Who knocked these people down?
Indeed. Yeah, we had 16 bots to start, and there are only 6 remaining. 2 more getting knocked out tonight. So yeah, here is our upper bracket. And then you can see that we're on Spiny versus the Harvester. Wait, what's going on here? Is that right?
Yeah. So
yeah, this is the upper bracket.
Yeah. So this is the upper bracket.
So this is going to be Saturday.
Yeah. So this is how everyone got down low. The MicroMachine was knocked down by Tier. Tier ultimately knocked down by Spiny in some frankly, very trolly games that included a worker rush, a tickle fight. Jensi was knocked down by the Harvester, and MadAI also knocked down by said Harvester.
Yeah, Harvester tearing through the matchup. I also saw that of all the bots, Harvester has actually received the least amount of updates, I believe. About 10 minutes worth of updates since the first day. Yeah.
Perfection, already done.
Yeah, it doesn't need updates if it's already perfect. Yeah, it's kind of surprising, I think, some of these bots that got knocked down into this lower bracket. MicroMachine, obviously, a little bit of a surprise. I mean, going up against Tier is no easy match for anybody, but you can see both those bots down here in the bottom, which is very, very interesting.
Yeah, interesting here that no one has made it to the final without dropping a map. In a lot of past seasons, you'd have a bot with essentially a perfect record all the way through to the last little bit, but that's not happened here. So yeah, here we've got we've got how we got here, which is that MicroMachine beat Ketrock last week to get on to face MadAI as it dropped down, and Jensiiibot showing that very human-like control over Spud, and will now go against the Thanos, who has a vendetta against humans.
The inevitable.
So yeah,
that I am very excited for.
That'll
that
be
matchup.
an interesting
that is
one.
Be very excited. Well, I love both bots. Always been a big fan of Tier. You know, doing some custom builds for me obviously makes me happy, but just awesome play in general, season after season. But Jensiiibot is very, very into it, like you were saying, very human-like, and it's just a lot of fun to watch something that human-like kind of go at it. It feels a little bit more, it's a little more relatable almost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it looks like the types of plays that you would do, but just coordinated to the millisecond.
It looks like what I would do, but actually good, because I can't do that. Yeah. So it's going to be a lot of good stuff. Everybody stay tuned. Get all your friends in here if you haven't already. And if you are checking out the VOD, thank you. Be sure, again, to check out all the links in the description below. You can get resources for making a bot if you want to join in future seasons of ProBots. We should be doing a season 3 once this one all wraps up here next week. Give it a month or so. But yeah, we're getting our first best of 3 loaded up tonight. And we're going to dive right into it. MadAI versus MicroMachine. A clash of titans coming your way right now on ESChamp's ProBots.
Madman's MadAI.
You gonna remember that name?
RR and Unusual's MicroMachine.
Can we see that name again? What is MicroMachine's gonna refer to him as? What?
that's a serial code.
Oh, like an identification number?
Yeah, all the cool kids are referring to each other by hexadecimal these days.
Oh, yeah. I'm too old for that, so.
Yeah.
All right, well, good stuff. We got our first match loaded up here. I'm super excited for this one. Nightshade is going to be our first match here. This best of 3, a little TVP, always a good time. So MicroMachine usually does quite well against everybody, but Protoss seems to be the one thing that can beat him. Obviously, Tier being Protoss. But I'm trying to think like who else can beat MicroMachine.
It had like say a season or 2 ago. I think that was MicroMachine and like 3 Protoss in the finals. There was Sharpened Edge maybe, and who's the other? I forget. But yeah, I think Protoss. I think innately, since MicroMachine just continues to attack. Protoss, by kind of its design, is the race that like can stabilize like that. Mm-hmm. Like they've got stronger, sturdier stuff. They can build a lot of defensive things. They've got a lot of like stalkers can be pretty good at just kind of holding things at bay. So I think they're the type that if they survive your initial stuff, they can stabilize and then kind of push back. Whereas like another Terran, that's very hard. Once you get on top of their buildings and stuff, it's very hard for them to ever push back.
Yeah. Well, as kind of to your point here, it looks like MadAI is going for some quick defense. He's going to kind of bunker up, maybe get some cannons up. We do see that Forge getting close to finished here. So, yeah, could very well see just a very defensive MadAI in this matchup. And, yeah, MicroMachine known for his aggression. So we'll see if MadAI can weather the storm, as it were.
Yeah. It's interesting here when you look at the stats. So MadAI usually gives like a probability of some kind. It looked from that the probability did not lead to a build order rush defense. It was leading to a two base robo, but it still picked this one. So it may have just kind of been coded to do that against MicroMachine, since it has some idea that that's what it's going to do.
Yeah. Well, he's trying to make it into that next round. This is definitely one of the harder matches to make it through, I would say. But cannons are up. Reaper gets through them, though.
Are those two units stuck?
Which two?
By the cannon?
Oh,
or are they just dancing, or are they stuck?
Oh, they're stuck. The probe trapped him in, I think, with the cannon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. Okay, the Zealot gets out. Oh, what?
MicroMachine died? Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay, maybe they did need to test it more.
Yeah, okay, so that was really unexpected.
That was
is the end of game one.
Definitely unexpected. Right. We did learn that the units were not stuck.
Yeah, we saw the Zealot did get out.
Yeah,
so I
it was just being trapped in by the Stalker itself. The Stalker didn't want to go.
Oh, the Stalker couldn't get through.
Yeah, and there it goes. Okay. So
well, this would be a very unfortunate way to get knocked out of ProBots in the round of 6 here. Yeah, so we'll see if MicroMachine, hopefully next match, will choose something different that doesn't break it.
Yeah, and and Raf just now coming to the realization in chat of what happened, I believe.
Bummer.
Hopefully, really hopefully that does not happen again. That is, that is a thing. I guess if you don't quite get to test everything, then there may be some sort of ouchie in there. Yeah.
There were a lot of changes. We can actually go ahead and start addressing some as we get our next game loaded up. It will be soon, ladies and gentlemen. But MicroMachine had a whole slew of updates, from improving reactions against block bases, to sending the army to accompany SCVs to protect expansions, stuff like that. So just a lot of little tiny things, a lot of little bug fixes. And unfortunately, when you do bug fixes, new bugs tend to spawn. So that seems to be the case here.
Yeah.
Even worse. Yeah, that is worse than the engineering bay bug, because at least in that one, he was able to keep playing.
Yes, so. and that one was also hilarious. this one not so funny. Not funny enough to justify it. Yeah.
But yeah, just some improved mule drop logic, stuff like that. So a lot of little fixes just to kind of smooth the edges and hopefully give MicroMachine a little bit of a performance boost. We'll see in game 2 if those come into play. And then, of course, MadAI only got a couple of updates. Reactivated the neural network to choose the best builds, and slightly tuned the attack threshold in order to make the 4-gate build more aggressive. So how do you think that extra aggression? Oh, we'll talk about it once we hop into our game here. Game number 2 coming up right now.
Madman's MadAI.
So
Raf RR and Unusual's MicroMachine.
MicroMachine totally thinks he won that.
Yeah, definitely.
What are you talking about, bro? I totally won that last game.
That's it. This is MicroMachine pulling out the victory, but we haven't counted the mail-in ballots yet, so he probably lost.
Oh goodness! All right, well,
claiming victory.
He's just gonna take the win.
Yeah.
Technically, there was no official winner, so he said, "Oh, I'm just gonna." Yeah, that was me. Prove me wrong. All right, Eternal Empire for game number 2 here. So I was asking right before we hopped in, do you think more aggression is the way to go against MicroMachine?
I think it definitely can be. as long as you can stabilize your home front with it. If you just pass in the night, then MicroMachine it just is going to keep making stuff and building stuff. And I think if you just try and base trade kind of a Terran, you're going to lose usually. But if you can get out on the map and at least face them out there instead of in your own base, I think that can help. But it really depends the type of thing, and it depends like what sort of build. Like in the old days, MicroMachine only did the one basic thing. It was tweaked for each race, but it was the same thing. Now it does a number of different builds. So it really depends what you're facing. In this case, with the proxy, definitely some early aggression could pay off.
Oh yeah, you just kind of go for almost an early base trade potentially. And what is it? Okay, so he is going to rush the defense one more time. So as long as he can get some cannons up, it should be okay. And it is proxied Marauders. This was actually posted in the Discord earlier, and it was blocked out with a spoiler thing. So like you can't see it. Basically, they just replaced the text with this is a spoiler. But yeah, we've got a proxy Marauder strategy, which it says it's now built in the base in order to confuse the bots that are scouting, the ones that rely on scouting information, to try to throw him a curveball. So
it's interesting that MadAI, despite the fact that it looks relatively normal at home, did still realize that this is something to do a rush defense on. It's got the shield batteries, but I think the Marauder is just particularly good against bots because the bots often do the dancing in and out sort of thing. I think just the fact that they're going to get concussive shells and then walk into it again and walk into it again.
Oh, did he get that upgrade?
That sort of position. I don't know if he did. That's usually what you get with this, but I actually
I thought I saw it on the tech lab. I think I saw it on the tech lab. I think it just finished up here. But 2 Marauders sitting down here, 2 more on the way.
Two cannons. They're a little far back, but they're okay. And then the shield battery there.
Yeah, this is going to be tricky, I think, for the Marauders.
The single pylon concerns me, but I think he's going to be all right-ish.
I don't think many of the bots snipe pylons, do they?
No, I mean, they don't snipe anything.
Yeah,
they just attack the first thing they see.
That would be an interesting little thing to program it. If you see one pylon and a bunch of other, like, target that down.
Calculate artosis ratio. And, and if artosis ratio equals true, then snipe.
This is actually going a little bit better than I thought it would, just because that second cannon isn't getting any shots off. So a couple stalkers have already gone down.
That's what I meant by that one being a little far back. But I think it's going to be okay. Now that his warp gate is done, I think he's going to get a little bit of a flood of units, and these Marauders are being really tentative when they could clearly kill this sentry at least.
Ooh, I like what I see behind the scenes here. A little one-base DT action. Could be a very good counter build to this. Wow, a sentry actually gets a kill. The Marauders just kind of stood there and took it.
Hopefully MicroMachine does build 13 E-base to deal with the DT to get some turrets up.
Yeah, right. He should have scans available. I know MicroMachine's decent at scanning there. Okay, Marauders are going to run away from this. They could easily take this fight, though. Come on, get him.
I think the ramp configuration there was kind of halting it. I like this. I like the hallucination. He's actually going to lose a Marauder here.
Have we seen a hallucination before?
We have. I forget who did it. Well, there was one that actually did it strategically. Like sometimes it would be an Archon, sometimes an Immortal, sometimes it would be something else. Yeah, and it would mess with the unit priority. I forget who that was.
Yeah, I vaguely remember what you're talking about here. Ooh, okay, so he knows that DTs are out, but will he be able to do anything against it? He's actually doing a really good job of running away. Where's this DT trying to go?
The DT just trying to get through the crowd.
Excuse me? Excuse me, trying to get through. Yeah, you were just hallucinating. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. That's interesting that it doesn't realize that is hallucinations, and I suppose so. Are we stalling out here? I think the stream.
I think just on our end there.
A little.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, so a lot of Marauders grouping up here and still not a whole ton of defense. Let's see. Okay, they are going in for the kill potentially here. Yeah. They're going to try to take down that shield battery first. Pretty good decision.
Okay. It's really interesting that it can at least snipe that much.
Yeah, because that'll help from the cannon stuff. But here we go. The Protoss army's actually just going to chase this down. The Zealots getting kited very well. The Marauders are doing the best that they can, and if it continues like this, maybe the Marauder ball will just get too big.
Yeah, the Zealot speed is on its way, but not quite done yet. If you get like 4 or 5 Zealots into this, then obviously it can tear it apart. And there are 5 Zealots with the DT. But yeah, are they gonna? The timing will almost coincide with when this is done, and he may kind of coming down the ramp a little bit early, but it should kick in now.
I love the pathfinding on MicroMachine too.
Did he like cancel it? No, it's okay. It did happen. I just can't see it. I guess because they're concussed so much.
Can you imagine a force field as those Marauders are trying to run away? That would shut this down instantly. The Zealots would be able to just slash away.
Yeah, absolutely.
One little thing like that could just
the medevac coming in here is going to help a lot because Marauders are pretty tanky against a small number of units, but they were just kind of dying to attrition there a bit.
Yeah, need them heals. Oh yeah, this is just a beautiful build out of MicroMachine. Everything's going a little bit better. No crashes so far. Let's keep our fingers crossed and see if he can finish the deal and bring us to an ace match here. We've even got cloaked Banshees on the way.
Yeah, and the DTs, to my knowledge, have not really done much of anything. Like they could be a huge factor in pushing this sort of thing back, but it's just kind of like walking in there, not really. Yeah, okay, it's finally attacking now. It was just kind of walking through before.
Yeah, I saw him at least twice just walk through the army and not do anything.
All right. So here the cannons come into play pretty well. The DT going undetected thus far.
Actually doing a really good job. The DT is starting to thin out the Marauder numbers very significantly here. I'm really surprised we haven't seen a scan or something. There, I thought I saw a Raven. Yeah, there's the Raven now. Okay. So now the DTs. But man, DT's got a lot of kills there.
Yeah, so keeping them thin overall, but the big long-term story here is that MadAI is at 17 workers, 18, versus 52 on MicroMachine side. And this is the type of thing that people get in the trap of, which is they can hold MicroMachine for a while, but all the time you're doing this, he actually is taking more economy. It's actually adding on production, teching up everything. So eventually you just falter, or eventually you push it back and be like, but I still have nothing. I mined out.
Well, his nickname is MacroMachine, so it makes sense.
Exactly.
All right, yeah, it's looking like we are indeed going to an ace match. 0 army supply currently out for MadAI, and once this Cybercore falls too, there's not going to be any stalkers. Yeah, this is just
all MicroMachine has to do is not crash.
Yeah,
and it will be
big ask at this moment.
Yeah. Let's hope that the thing that made it crash wasn't like attacking the Nexus.
Yeah, right.
Or something.
That would be awful.
Yeah, so it has swarmed here. Not a horrible choice. Like the build choice by MadAI was the correct one. Like this is essentially what you would have wanted to do as a response to the Marauder thing, and it just came down to a control issue that it was chasing too far. I don't know if it can recognize that like concussive shells are there and that you need to pull back, but the Zealots just kind of like continued to chase down until they died. The first couple of DTs didn't really engage, and he just kind of ended up getting picked apart. So kick it to
a couple little tiny things could have really changed it. I'm force fields, man.
Yeah,
that was the answer to change this game. Yeah, but we've talked about that before. It's really hard to know where to put the force field to make it effective, because if you just put a force field like, oh, Marauder's running away, let me put one, even behind them. Okay, they're just going to go around it. So you have to know, okay, here's a choke, there's rocks, there's, a ramp there. You just have to know the effective spots to put a force field and then try to time it correctly. So it's definitely, I would say, one of the harder things maybe to program.
Yeah, probably is. I wonder if you could
there's probably a reason we haven't really seen it. So
yeah, we haven't seen it done too well. I'm sure stuff like the hallucinations and stuff are easier. I wonder if you could use almost that center of mass equation that we've seen for like Zerg wraparounds and stuff, and just say calculate the center of mass and just force field it.
Yeah.
And hope that that's a good spot.
Hope it's in a ramp or something.
Yeah, just hope that you cut the army in half.
Well, and that's the other thing. If you say you have 4 sentries normally and you're trying to cut an army in half, what if you try to do that same thing with only 1 sentry? It's just not going to work out. So there's just so many variables, I think, that come into play. When sentries are involved. But we've got an ace match. I am super stoked. Hopefully there are no crashes and we have a nice long game between these two, because because it should be interesting if we can get into that late game scenario. MadAI seems to really be favoring the one base play today, though. Builds.
I think if it makes that same decision again, that it is defending a rush, and again, it's not the wrong decision that you're defending a rush, and he was in this case, but you have to have a plan. Very often, and this is something for players out there too, like human people that might be in, silver, gold, something like that. Very often when someone knows it's a rush, they defend the rush, and then they forget the part where they eventually have to transition to attacking. So it's all well and good to defend a rush, but if behind it your opponent took 2 more bases, then it doesn't actually matter that you defend. Like, you just turned it into a 15-minute game instead of a 6-minute one, but you're just wasting 9 more minutes of your time. So you have to have a plan to get out of it. And here, obviously, the plan was DTs, but they didn't really. It didn't really pay.
Well, let's hop into Game 3 and find out what the plan is right now.
Madman's MadAI. Raph RR and Unusual's MicroMachine.
Still thinks it's batting 100.
Yeah.
50% of the time, it works every time.
Yeah, well, we'll see if it works out this game. And I think an important question, too, to ask, if MicroMachine does move on, will it have the same problem in the next series? We'll find out. If MicroMachine moves on, I guess. We'll have to wait and see till this game is over. But definitely something to keep in the back of our minds here. Maybe it is just that Game 1 build that causes it to crash, whatever is going on there. But we'll find out soon what these bots are going to do. We know what MicroMachine's pretty much going to do. And MadAI will, of course, announce its decision here momentarily. I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb here and say it's going to be a rush defense build.
One might think so. One might think so.
That is a close proxy.
That is a pretty close proxy.
That is right up in MadAI's business. This is a good map for that, too. I think just this map allows for you to do it this much closer.
Definitely. I think just too, the way that bots behave, it's not really like a person. And most of them aren't designed to scout this sort of thing, where they just kind of look. It's really hard to, if you're a bot and you have like a scouting pattern, you're going to just continue to have that scouting pattern. So anyone that can like see you play will know exactly where to put it. Like, they're just going to put it outside of wherever you scout. So it makes it tough.
Indeed. Yeah, this is gonna be a little bit tougher, I think, for MadAI in this round 3. Again, the defense looked pretty good to start, and then MicroMachine just kind of snowballed. But this time, I don't even know if those cannons are going to be up in time.
Yeah, it's a lot closer. The forge is there. The shield battery already coming. I think the placement of the cannons, again, is going to be very important. If you had 2 of those cannons firing, then maybe you just whittle down a little bit more, a lot quicker, make it hard for it to snipe up there. But I don't know. It'll depend on placement. And again, bots not awesome at like precise placement of things.
Yeah. So we're seeing a missing add-on here, as our observers so kind of point out.
Yeah.
So we're gonna actually have half the amount of Marauders than is intended. I think. So that actually could just be MadAI's saving grace right there.
Yeah, that really could be a big swing. Yeah, noting that yes, this is indeed not good. We've seen this sort of issue with some other bots as well. That particularly with add-on detection, that they don't know that it wasn't built or something, or don't know that they lost it. I think we saw a bot break like that.
So does it just see the one in the main and is like, oh, I'm good. I got one. Maybe.
Yes, I think it's, well, I don't know for C++, what the things are, but yeah, like it should be counting. It should be able to check if it's got the add-on or not, but something has made it not do it. But I mean, the interesting thing, of course, he is macroing behind this. So we may see this not work, but then ultimately what happens anyway, given that in that last game, even before he broke through, it was like 52 SCVs to 18 probes. So this might still not be awful.
Well, and we're seeing kind of the same amount of Marauders at about the same time as last time. So even though that Barracks is idle, the money is being spent. And yeah, like you said, maybe that's just able to go now into the macro behind this, so he'll just have a bigger, stronger follow-up anyway. But these are getting chased back a little bit. The Reaper waiting to spring in behind, maybe pick off those sentries. But yeah, these sentries are about to be done for, I think. They get one Marauder, but that will just about do it for those poor things. Oh, do we have DT? Yep, there we go. DTs are out again.
Out and on the way. Is it going to stop and try and fight, or go right across?
So I want to watch what it does. I think last time it just went over to MicroMachine's base and then came home. Was that?
I think that might be the case, detecting that it was being attacked. There is already 2 turrets well on the way, so they'll be up by the time it gets over there.
All right, well, it's definitely looking very similar to last game, so if it continues down this path, it could just very well be a MicroMachine win. Oh, these Zealots need to not chase so far. I think that's a big problem, too.
All right, nice blocking this.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, going after the add-on.
That's good.
Could be a big turn because it will stop the Marauders.
Yeah, because there's no add-on on the other side. Yeah, that'll completely stop Marauder production for a little bit at least. So we'll see. And there is a decent army still in the Protoss main. Oh, a nice repair. The SCV is coming in clutch here. Able to save that add-on. I do think that's pretty important.
Do the Marauders think they can walk through that mineral pass? That's kind of a weird what they're doing.
Yeah, or they just didn't recognize it, as a blocking object, so they're trying to micro backwards that way, essentially. They do go around finally.
Back on.
All right, so
yeah, we've kind of got this situation, kind of like we were saying. MadAI has stabilized a bit here. It doesn't look like he's going to be in danger, but the economy is about half as good.
Yeah, it's a little sad back at the eco here. Yeah, 23 to 38 workers. The army supply, though, if we could just get one really good engagement out of MadAI here, he could very easily just kind of push across, maybe put some pressure on, slow MicroMachine down a little bit, because that's the biggest thing. You've got to slow MicroMachine down. And that's what I think Ketrock did well last time, right? Was slowing down MicroMachine?
Definitely. Now, the Cyclones are almost the perfect thing. Yeah. The Concussive Shell plus the Cyclones are pretty good at cutting this back, but it's a lot of Zealots with charge, and that is a lot to deal with. They've spread out damage a lot there, too, so not really taking a lot down.
That charge is a game changer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Gigantic.
But, yeah, no, I'm sorry. I was thinking of Spiny did a good job at slowing down MicroMachine, or no, maybe it was Ketrock. Yeah, I mix these games up in my head sometimes. Either way, as it is, there's only one Marauder here for defense. It tries to get back behind, but the wall is already closed. And he is stuck outside. There is a planetary fortress.
Yeah, planetary will definitely help here. And the Banshee coming out after the only Stalker dies, second one coming in. But a Banshee will win this fight.
Oh, much better for MadAI, but I think he's just going to run out of steam here. The army supply is starting to drop, and he definitely does not have enough to push through a planetary fortress at this point in time.
Yeah, and he just hasn't taken another base.
Yeah, so, he was really hoping to win on one base, I guess.
Yeah. Again, I think it was just, it was coded to survive, but then that was it. It's got the proxy pylon here and just the middle of...
It focused so hard on the survival. It's like, all right, I did it. I survived. Yeah. What do I do now? Where do I go from here?
Not over yet. If it can get a few Stalkers going, the Zealots are still going to be pretty good at dealing with the Cyclones underneath. But the Banshees, if they have Cloak, and I think they... Do they yet?
I believe
there we go. So, there's no answer to this. I don't think there's even a robo.
Yeah, just with that planetary there, it really seems like MadAI just doesn't know how to deal with it. It's just kind of fighting, switching targets while getting shelled by that planetary, and in the end, you're just going to lose your whole army here. And MicroMachine's getting his third base. And with that, it is really starting to go in MicroMachine's favor. It was looking so much better for our Protoss this time around, and he's still killing. He's still getting kills. We see Reapers dying, Marauders dying, but yeah, it's the long game that really comes into play here.
Yeah, it'll take a little bit to push through this, but you can see MadAI there when we already switched back to his base, starting to mine out, whereas MicroMachine going up to the third there now.
I'm starting to think MicroMachine just wanted to flex and was like, "Oh no, I lost game one by crashing."
Yeah,
and then it just comes back and no.
it was like Tears Pro Brush.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, "Oh no, I lost. Whatever will I do?"
Yeah, yeah. So hopefully that was map specific or something. But even this one, I mean, ending up winning even with the add-on bug, that obviously cut into what it was trying to do. Yeah, it did well.
And that's always been one of MicroMachine's really good strengths. Even if it does have a bug or something, we saw with the engineering base, it keeps trucking. It just is able to continue macroing, building units, and even if it's a little sloppy and it's not so pretty sometimes, it still gets the job done a lot of the time.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just so resilient.
Yeah, so workhorse.
Finish the deal here. The only mining base here is going to lose all its probes, and with that, MadAI's hopes and dreams of moving on here in Season 2 of ProBots will come crashing down. And yeah, we're going to probably speed up here, as that is pretty much going to do it. There's no way I see that MadAI could ever come back. These Stalkers can't even fight the Banshees right now.
Yeah, there's no detection, especially with that last cannon down. And again here, it almost looks like the mineral patch is confused it a little bit, but going after the pylon in the middle.
Yeah, the mineral patch is really throwing the gear in the works, but well done, MadAI, for making it so far into Season 2 here. We definitely saw some impressive stuff this season, and going up against MicroMachine, never an easy feat, so well fought. But MicroMachine, congratulations, you are moving on to our next best of 3, which will be happening tonight. We're going to decide who is going to go up against MicroMachine in just a little bit here. We're going to go ahead and get our next series loaded up, but that was some phenomenal play. MicroMachine, always a strong contender, looking really good here. And then, yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed we don't see a crash on our next series here.
Yeah, hopefully.
But while we get that loaded up, now's a good time to do a Crown Club member shout out. Thank you again to all of our Crown Club, but we're going to single one of you out and stare at you.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Probably.
I caught our production off guard. They said they were always ready when I just say, yeah, run a thing, but I feel lied to. Very fitting for our next match. Thank you, Simon. That is the author of Tier, coming in with their Crown Club membership. Thank you so much for your support. But yeah, we've got an exciting match coming up next. But let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of highlights from our series we just watched and discuss what we think is going to happen with MicroMachine next round. So again, a lot of little fixes, a lot of little upgrades and that kind of thing. I love the Proxy Marauder build. How well do you think that's going to work against? I guess we got to wait and see who moves on. But if he's going up against Tier, obviously we could have a similar situation as what we saw here. But how do you think it would work against a Terran?
Yeah, I do think it's a bit tougher versus the Terran. I think the thing that makes it work so well against the Protoss is the asymmetry of a ranged unit versus a non-ranged unit. The only thing that even made it close is the Zealot charge. So yeah, it's the fact that if you're a Terran versus it and you've got the high ground, then you kind of get that first shot before they get. And it's also better, you'll notice in both cases, it's a better contained strategy than it is an actual attack strategy. If it's in a human's hands, it's fine to like poke up and down. Bots do have trouble with that. So it's better if it kind of like pokes, but ultimately stays at the bottom of the ramp and catches things as they move out, as opposed to really trying to push in. So as a contain sort of thing, to keep them on one base, and then you wait for that Cyclone, Banshee, Raven backup, then I think you're good.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what we saw out of MicroMachine. Did a really good job. Didn't overcommit going up the ramp. We did see it go. The furthest it went, I think, was when it was sniping that shield battery in game 2 or whatever that was.
Yeah.
But anyway, phenomenal series. Well done, MicroMachine. We'll be seeing you in just a little bit here to find out who goes up against him. Let's hop into our next best of 3 right now on ESChamp's ProBots.
Tier. Jensiiibot.
Okay, this is the matchup I think I've been most excited for all season without even knowing that it was going to happen. I was just excited for it. I love both these bots are so good. Tier always throwing out something cheeky. It's just got some phenomenally strong play, and Jensiiibot is just a beast of a bot in general. So this is a true Clash of Titans right here.
It really is. Yeah, they're both hardcore, always successful competitors, and I think it's going to come down to style and if they can find ways, particularly for Tier, if he finds a way to exploit Jensiibot's passivity through some of the early game.
Yeah, because Jensiibot loves to sit to 200, 200, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So if he can find a way to kind of like gear up on top of that, then I think he may find the way through. But yeah, it could be tough.
Yeah, there's a couple ways Tier could go about it. He could take that approach where he tries to find that crack in the armor and try to take advantage of something and just cripple Jensiiibot essentially early on, or could go for Jensiibot's game, sit back, max out, take a really big engagement, and just hope that Protoss power takes him through.
Damn right.
Damn right. Protoss power.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I'm very excited to see what we're gonna see here. We've always seen Tempest out of Tier a lot of the time. But God, we've seen so much out of Tier. Tier has 50 plus builds or something. I think for the finals, though, it has been scaled down a little bit. Maybe I'm wrong, but we do have some updates some for this week. And who's he again? So we've got, not only are there updates for this bot, but there's updates for Zerg, for Terran, and for Protoss specifically. So a lot of work went into this to prepare for that grand finals, which at this moment could still be a Zerg, could still be a Terran, could still be a Protoss that he's going up against. So
yeah, you have to account for everything.
Yeah. Oh wait, no. Is he the only Protoss left? Wait.
Well, MadAI could have made it through.
But yeah, now that MadAI is out.
Now that he's already
he didn't know Zerg and Terran left. Yeah, he didn't know that. So he prepared for it. But at this moment, so Zerg and Terran are the only, other than Tier, are the only things left here. But let's go ahead and talk about the versus Terran updates. I don't know if you've read through these yet, but basically there is some specific against Jensiiibot improvements here. So he improved the build against Jensiiibot to be able to defend against Widow Mine drops. I don't think I've ever seen Jensiiibot do Widow Mine drops.
I don't know if I've seen that either, but
I wonder where that's. Maybe they were talking about something.
Yeah, it could definitely be a good sort of thing to do. It definitely seems like the type of thing that would be in Jensiibot's wheelhouse.
Even added a second counter against MicroMachine. So if Tier moves on, we could see that come into play. And added a charge lot harass, which we might even see in this series here. So just a few updates for each race, but some very solid ones, some very specific ones to try to, again, just find that gap in the armor and take advantage of his opponent.
Charge lots as a harassment tool could definitely be super effective. Like there's a lot of the worker, there's not a lot of worker fleeing a lot of the time. Or it picks and chooses when to do that. So I think, there's also not a lot of like mechanics in many of the bots that says if I'm getting overwhelmed, back up, regroup, and attack. They would just kind of continue to stream in. So if you threw 8 zealots into the main base, it's possible that they would just come marine after marine trying to stop it and never really accomplish it. Yeah.
And just waste marine after marine. Makes sense. Jensiiibot also got some updates. Actually, I'm just looking through now. Also updated in anticipation of a Protoss, a Zerg, or a Terran opponent, which in Jensi's case, there is still the possibility for all three. Well, I mean, I guess he's facing the Protoss right now, but we'll still have some against Terran and against some Zerg potentially if he moves on. But we'll focus on the TVP for now.
Here comes the Widowmine drop.
Oh, holy crap, here it is.
So, let's see what this defense is, and let's see what the offense is.
Yeah.
So it's kind of swooping in. It's kind of in vision, but, what's he going to do?
So I do believe
there's a cannon there at least.
Right? He
saw it.
There we go. There's the stalker. Okay, Medevac's going to try to evade the stalker. Sees the cannon there as well. That is not a good spot to drop the mines. Oh no, don't go back that way. Oh no.
All right, I'm going to say defense successful.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to call that. Oh no, that's so unfortunate.
Yeah.
Really got stuck there. Thought there was more room or something that it could get away from the stalker shots. But
for whatever reason, that's also not the only bot that we've seen that for a drop or an oracle or something goes to the extreme back corner and then tries to deploy. It doesn't zoom right in. It like goes somewhere else first and then swoops back. And I think in that particular case, once it got out there, obviously dropships are notoriously, or a lot of units are notoriously scared of cannons. And then I think it tried to go around it, and there wasn't room to go around it, and then that happened.
So I do think Tyr is going for the latter of the two that I talked about earlier. Tyr is just going to sit home, max up getting upgrades, got +1 attack on the way, charge almost done, Colossus range even being researched.
Yeah.
But actually, as I said, a little Zealot hit squad starting to move across the map here, or maybe a little of that harass you were talking about.
Indeed, and there comes the charge is just done as they're moving across. If it goes off to this third base and can cancel that, then that's pretty good right off the bat.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you added the charge lot harass.
Yeah.
So yeah, here it is.
Yeah. So good number. Although there's a Marines just naturally in a great position, but they're going to provide some cover for these guys. Cancels despite the fact the Zealots had actually stopped attacking. They're going to get on top of the tank here.
Oh, that's nice.
And instant take that out.
Ooh, good mine shot, though.
Yeah, we'll get cleaned up here. But yeah, that was definitely worth it. Canceling the base, killing a tank, killing a few Marines. But yeah, for just Zealots, that's definitely mission
They knew it was a one-way trip. They went in to kill as much as they could before they went down themselves.
Zealots never come home.
Very rarely, yeah.
Like,
and if they do, it's in the body of a Dragoon or an Immortal.
That's it. I love the philosophy behind like a warp prism warping you into an enemy base. And then if you're one of like the 16 Zealots that got warped in from a warp prism, and you look up and be like, I know you can't hold 16 of us. So I know that you're intending to kill me right now. Whereas at least the medevac, like, oh, you died by accident, but I had room to take you out.
They're kind of like Klingons in that sense. They live for the glory of the battle and to defend their honor and fight for what they think is right. And in this case, they think killing Terrans is right. So we'll see if Tyr can come across here and do just that. Tyr is moving across with his 89 supply army against the 54 for Jensiiibot. The +1 armor is about to finish up, which will even the upgrades up between these two here.
Check out that CC placement there as well.
Oh god, it's so off.
Yeah, off there. Didn't not rebuild on spot. Zealots blow their charge coming in against the CC, but then half of them break off, half of them still going after the SCVs. Nice kind of splits here, reducing some of the Colossus damage, but this is just an onslaught.
It's just such a big army. Jensi's control is so phenomenal even now, but against Colossus, what can you even do with Marines? Just hellfire is raining down upon this Terran army right now. SCVs getting absolutely slaughtered. And just an overwhelming force just crashes through the third there. And Jensiiibot just wasn't ready, just didn't have the army supply. Has Ghosts out, is getting the right tools in place.
Yeah,
just wasn't there. Just not ready for it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, you could give a lot of credit to that, to canceling the base earlier. That would have been up and mining a lot quicker. Maybe you'd have a few more Vikings out here now. But there are stalkers with this as well to protect the Colossus. Not many, but enough, obviously, to scare the Vikings off.
Had the Widow Mines gotten some kills, that could have really slowed down Tier as well. A lot of little things could have gone differently, but it all just really went into Tier's favor this game, and just beautiful execution out of Tier with that nice little early charge out harass to, like you said, gum up the third there a little bit and screw things up, and then just absolutely comes in like a wrecking ball. And 103 army supply to 14. I think we all know who's going to win this one. Tier's just playing it safe, hanging out on the ramp. Oh, no, actually, it's just stuck because those two at the top are fighting. They're like, hold on, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to finish this, and then you can come up.
Just wait for this killer EMP.
Right. That will be one of the best EMPs, I think, ever. Will it go down?
No, it doesn't look like it. Makes it through. Destroying all the things. And that is it for game one.
Well done, Tier. That was awesomely executed there. But this is not looking good for my prediction that Tier was going to move on to the grand finals. So you're screwing me up, Tier. You're screwing up my predictions. Yeah. But
there you go.
I would love to see Tier move on. I'd love to see Jensi move on. All these bots are just so good at this point. And I love all the updates that they're getting for this final week here. We're seeing so much getting crammed in, it seems, for the final, last couple weeks. Because again, these are the last updates that these bot authors are allowed to install into their bot. So this is it until the finals. We're going to see probably some similar builds in the finals. Just kind of depends what the matchups end up being. But yeah, man, this is so good. This is going to be our best finals yet. I'm feeling it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
here's a replay. So there's the medevac. I think you could kind of tell it was trying to go around because it didn't want to come into where the cannon was,
or the stalker,
or the stalker, and didn't quite work. There's the first two zealots that came in and tipped off these Marines before the second wave came in. The second wave got separated by one Marine halfway down the map, but ultimately got the job done.
I think that kind of worked out okay because then the Marines were far enough back that the first two zealots started to engage them. The rest of the zealots were you're like, oh, a command center, and then didn't even see the Marines till after it was dead almost.
Yeah, exactly.
So that almost actually worked out. Just those little tiny things really went into Tier's favor this game.
Yeah, definitely. And we also saw a little bit there with that second wave of the replay when a lot more zealots came in, that half them continued going after the command center and SCVs, but a big portion of them did pull off to go after the Marines. And we're seeing that evolve a lot more on bots, that they're making these split decisions on what to prioritize. And I think that's good. That's obviously an area that we've praised Jensiiibot a lot for, but Tier showing some signs of it there as well.
All right, well, we're going to hop into game number 2 right now to see who moves on or if Jensiiibot can bring us to an ace match.
Tier. Jensiiibot.
Was that you just clicking?
Yeah.
Okay, it just had it didn't bother me. It was very subtle, but it just sounded like it was right as Tier came up. You know how we joke about how Laddie's in the background just actually being the bot is actually the bot. It just sounded like Tier was like, click, click, click. All right, send my probes to work. Anyway, we are on Everdream for our next match here. Special thanks to Elad for creating the map pathing tool that Jensiiibot uses. Love that little shout out. Always nice. Yeah, there's some really talented guys behind the scenes who make some very, very valuable resources for new bot authors, even current bot authors. Just some really handy tools that can help improve your bots gameplay. So again, if you're looking to get into a season of ProBots, go check out aiarena.net, and you can see the ladder there. The top 16 bots from that ladder will qualify for ProBots next season. So we'll see. I'm imagining we're going to see a lot of the same bots that we're seeing this season, but definitely some new ones. We had 4 new bots this season, something like that.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, there's tons of new ones on the arena ladder that haven't made it in yet. But there's something like 50 active bots or something. So yeah, it's a community that's definitely growing along. Now, here I should point out, we had mentioned taking advantage of Jensiibot's passivity and tier with the gateway and nexus before any gases. Could be kind of economically trying to take advantage of his opponent.
Oh, absolutely. That if no aggression's coming, you get that nexus as soon as you can. But that's always the tricky part. Usually, is you don't know when aggression's coming. I would say in Jensi's case, it's usually a safe bet, but you never know. This was the final week of updates. So it definitely, I think, was a little bit of a gamble potentially, because Jensiibot could have totally changed up and had an early attack, kind of like Tier has with those zealots or something. But as it is, Jensiibot's just going to sit back at home, get those 2 bases, and so is Tier.
Yep, the Reaper will come across here now, and the Nexus still a little bit undefended for a bit. No Stalker out yet, and we'll go after these probes that are not really responding yet. So this could help equalize some of that early Nexus advantage. And Stalker is out now. But a number of kills. Reaper will jump up, then down, then up again.
I think this is a much better map for Widow Mine drops. I hope we see that again, because as long as that medevac can get behind the base here, there's a lot of open space for it to be able to just kind of sit there and wait like it was kind of trying to do in the last game.
Yeah, and there is Widow Mine underway. That pylon behind the mineral line, I've got to assume, is to put a cannon down at some point, but not
is there none there yet?
I don't think there is yet. I don't even actually know if he made a forge yet.
No, I don't think actually we've seen a forge. 3 bases, though. We do see a 3rd base out of Tier. So really trying to take that eco lead over Jensiibot. Yeah, just really, I think, anticipating that Jensiibot's going to be quite passive. Other than this Widow Mine drop, which, fingers crossed, let's see if Jensiibot can get something done this time.
Yeah, so the forge coming, the forge almost exactly timed with the medevac, so I'm sure he's kind of calculated that out of when exactly do I need to make this thing, and that should press about right. So he'll be able to get it down.
You can only have the drop so early, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And it usually is about like 440 or something you can get. Yeah, I guess
420.
It'll be about that. Yeah.
I'm really hoping these do a lot better. I'd love to see an ace match between these two here. Reaper coming back in, has 3 kills on its belt there. Let's see if we can get another. No, just gonna keep running. Good call. Ooh, there we go. Good position. Oh no, don't. Okay, never mind. I was like, wow, what a good job. He got down, is gonna be able to run away, and nope.
So despite this forge, a cannon has not gone down, to my knowledge here. So now he's got a lot of troops in the main. This is kind of sneaking in. It wasn't seen this time. So yeah, that may be a little bit late, but there is a stalker there.
No, don't stop here.
Yeah, it just won't go.
No. Keep going.
Yeah, oh well.
Oh
no.
Well. Oh, that hurts my heart. That's so unfortunate.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, it's like it was hitting a brick wall there.
Yeah.
Really did not want to go past
I think it just kind of, I don't know what it wanted to do. I think the issue, if I could speculate, the issue is in order to get to the mineral line, it has to get closer to the stalker. And it doesn't want to. It wants to swing around the stalker, but you can't. So I think that's potentially what happened in these cases.
So maybe if there was a map where there's lots of open space behind there, it could work out. But
maybe
just the first 2 maps here, not very good for swinging around.
Why don't we play on Scrap Station anymore?
Right?
Yeah.
That was a good map.
Yeah, what's wrong with Season 1 2010 maps?
I miss some old small maps. Every map is just so big now.
They are.
I miss the old little ones where you had to one base. You know?
Yeah, I had done in early Legacy. I had done like a tournament that I think I called like the Season 1 Open, where you have to play with Legacy of the Void stuff, but on the Season 1 ladder maps.
Awesome.
And it was just a disaster. Like, Protoss couldn't win. There was no such thing as a defended natural on any of those maps. So,
okay, this is different. So the Zealots are here looking for a third, but there's no third.
Finding it.
It's halfway. It's building right now in Jensiibot's base. So maybe learning from last game a little bit.
Yeah. So if they patrol a bit here, if they go in, then they're subject to the tanks and Widow Mines. But I don't know. They've got
this is really just for harass.
Yeah.
They're really just looking for a third base. I don't think they have any intention of going into the natural. Well, we'll see here.
And it's probably good. Don't poke the bear. Like if he knows that the opponent's being passive, then this is exactly the right thing to do.
Yeah, just keep checking for that third. If he doesn't have a third, just keep building up back at home. Now, this is incredible. He's just going back and forth, waiting for another base. Even going to check over here for it. Maybe he's like, oh, maybe there's a hidden base. But no, just Jensi sitting at home being really defensive. And actually, Zealot's not going to catch this move out.
Yeah, this is moving across, though. But but this is probably good. It's going to let him basically kill this portion of the force off, taking a fair bit of friendly fire. But that's still overall better for Jensi. But he's still just outclassed by this army on the other side.
Oh, that army's huge. It's almost twice the size.
Yeah.
I know. It was that Jensi always seems so crisp and on point, but Tyr is just cranking out the army unit. It is a lot of Zealots, and those aren't the slowest thing to build. You know, if you get up to 3 bases like Tyr's on with all that mineral income, you can really start cranking out some Zealots, and I think that's what we're seeing here. And that's where a lot of the army supply is. So it's all going to come down to the tank positioning, to the Widow Mines, if they can get enough splash on the Zealots, and hopefully not on the bio. This is a great place to start it in that little choke point, but the Zealots have already made it to the top, and they are crashing through the tanks, and there's just too much. He almost doesn't even need the Colossus or Immortals.
Yeah, not even fighting. Yeah, the Zealots alone were enough to do major damage, and then the Colossus just kind of insult the rest of them.
Oh, much better game, but Jensiibot on the ropes one more time. He does have the ghosts out. Maybe he can get some EMPs on those Immortals, and then if he can just stim down and pick them off. Oh, but he's going to lose his natural. That's huge considering he just got his third up and running. This is not looking good for our Terran bot.
One small difference here. This time there are no stalkers with this army. So these Vikings are actually going to push back the Colossus eventually, and nothing shoots up. Obviously, massive damage has been taken, but this may not end the game. However, there's a second wave here coming, and I'm not sure what's with that. If there are stalkers with it, then that will end it.
Yeah, so far the damage has been contained just to the natural, but finally Tyr is starting to break into the main. It's just a powerhouse play here. The Immortals need to get up there. Oh, the Vikings do kill off the last Colossus. That's really going to help the bio out. The Marines now can maybe stand a chance.
Especially with the Protoss army cooperating by just staying there. One Immortal is allowed to fire at a time. The rest have to wait their turn.
Yeah, this could give just maybe enough time, but look at the army supply. It's still so
he's also so heavily supply capped that
he can't even make anything. He's getting +3 attacks, so that's nice. His upgrades are good, but just not enough. And here we go. As the Immortals do finally get up as the Factory dies, the Zealot flood gets unleashed. And with that, Jensiibot's run is going to end in Season 2 here of ProBots. And we have got our next match pretty much decided, Endersword.
Exactly. I mean, what are you going to do? Even with the Vikings against the Colossus, he did go for the head, but ultimately Thanos still winning this one.
Now, is this going to work out just as well against MicroMachine, do you think?
The same strategy? No. But, I mean, this was very much based on taking advantage of the passivity of his opponent. So I think it's got to be a totally different strategy against, well, when I say totally different, not really. It can't be that aggressive that economically, but the charge lots and everything, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's the charge lot immortal is actually a pretty reasonable strategy against a lot of what MicroMachine does.
Yeah, especially if we see those proxied marauders again, things like that. So it is going to be an explosive best of 3 coming up next. Congratulations so far to all of our bots. Unfortunately, Jensiiibot, you are out as well, and we do have a couple replays here for you. And MadAI also getting dropped today. We're going to eliminate one more bot tonight. Wait, no, we're not. Wait.
Yeah. I know you kept saying there's 4 at the final. I don't think there is. There's 3, right?
Well, no, because we're doing our 3rd place match.
Oh, are we doing
on Saturday, right?
What?
So,
so we're not doing tier and MicroMachine?
We are, yeah. So tier and MicroMachine's coming up next, and that is our 4th
okay. Well,
place
that will
match.
determine who is 4th. The loser of that is 4th. Okay.
Yeah. So essentially, one more bot's getting quote unquote dry is not going to be moving on to our Saturday finals.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so our next best of 3 after our break here tonight will be our 4th place decider, and we'll decide who's moving on to our top 3. So yeah, here we see almost a really good engagement here. Much better for Jensiiibot, but yeah, some friendly fire splash that you pointed out just never helps the Terran when that happens. And this was, this was almost, do you think maybe if the Widow Mines were a little down the ramp a little bit more?
They're also on the wrong ramp, right? So they were expecting
where you want to hit them. Yeah.
So yeah, because they had already done a lot of damage before those even went off. You'd ideally have them fire down the ramp, not sideways. Yeah. But yeah, exactly. It just
they could have gotten a lot more damage, I think, but it might not have been enough anyway. There were just so many.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And so much
they absorbed that pretty well. Yeah.
All right, well, let's go ahead and take a look at our losers bracket here. I'm sorry, our lower bracket. I've never liked the term losers bracket. All these bots are winners in my heart.
They're bots. They're going to be okay.
Until they gain sentience, and we're screwed. So yeah, here we see tier moving on. MicroMachine taking a 2-1, also moving on. So our next best of 3 will be MicroMachine versus tier. And then winner of that is going to have a chance to go up against either who's left in our
Harvester,
Spiny and Harvester, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, here's our final. This will be Saturday. Some of these will be played out once we decide who's moving on tonight. But again, yeah, make sure you join us next week on Saturday. This is our final day of normal ProBot season, and then our grand finals will be taking place on the 12th here on ESChamp. So make sure you bookmark the channel, hit the follow button, hit the like button, the little bell icon, whatever it is here on YouTube.
Yeah,
and
just write on a napkin where you currently are.
That works too.
However you do it.
Whatever you got to do to be here. Hopefully you will be here, but stay tuned. We are going to do one more best of 3 tonight to decide our 4th place bot of this season. So make sure you stick around for after our quick little break here. We're going to do a little word from our sponsors, and then we'll see you all after our break for our final best of 3.
I don't know why.
Welcome back, everybody, to ProBots Season 2, our final normal day of games before our grand finals. So thank you for joining us, and thank you for tuning in, bot authors and viewers alike. It's awesome to have you all here. Endersword joining me for our last best of 3. Yes, you are. It's going to be great. Are you excited? This is tier versus MicroMachine. Always a great matchup.
This is essentially the one. If you asked me at the very start of the season, show me the list of players, I would have said this is the final. So
it's a safe bet.
Yeah, even although they were in the same side of the bracket. But other than that, I would have said this was the final.
Well, they've been up against each other in the finals before, correct?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
So awesome stuff. It's going to be a great match no matter what way you look at it. Hopefully, again, fingers crossed, MicroMachine does not experience the same crash that it did in its first best of 3 this evening. And hopefully no more other bugs follow suit. But tier looking really good so far. No bugs on that end, it looks like.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this plays out. We do have our match loading up right now. We'll give it just a minute, but while we wait, again, if you're just tuning in, this is season 2 of ProBots. We're going to be doing a season 3 in a month or two's time. So get your bots made and get onto that AIarena.net ladder, so you can hopefully qualify for future seasons. It's a lot of fun. We're going to even be doing our humans versus bots show match this finals. So we'll have a few bots that we can play against, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Endersword will probably be leading the team again. He is our captain, fighting the fight against the robot revolution.
Yeah.
Should be good. But let's go ahead and hop into our last best of 3 of the night. Tier versus MicroMachine here on ESChamp.
Rap RR and Unusuals, MicroMachine. Tier.
I love imagining these bots have personalities. If you pull that chat back up, so he's like, "Greetings, I'm gonna call you this, thing," and Tier so politely, and "Greetings, nice to see you, MicroMachine." And then under his breath to himself, MicroMachine is like, "I'm gonna proxy marauder you to death, bitch."
I think they at least have like D&D alignments or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Tier strikes me as like, well, Thanos is definitely lawful evil. MicroMachine seems like
I'd say chaotic neutral.
Yeah, chaotic neutral. Yeah,
very chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
Just it's very good at creating chaos and keeping on the pressure and poking and stuff. But
I think Kagamine is like lawful good.
So I guess it's going to be a Tempest build.
Yeah.
Tier throwing out. He's not even 2 minutes in the game. He's like, "Oh, by the way, Tempests."
Let's see if he holds a ramp. So this is basically what we were talking about. Like, if this build was up against Tier, what would it do? And we'll see here. The building placement is already interesting. That it's basically 2 buildings right at the forefront there. If there's high ground vision, then those become targets pretty easily. But
that is interesting. Interesting placement there. I guess to keep the Reaper out is the idea from jumping right there.
I think that is it. Yeah. But yeah, it may not pay off that great. So it's going to be Stalker first, no Zealot. Getting Warp Gate.
Do we have a tech lab? It is building. Excellent.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, tech lab.
Yeah.
So he is building that. So he will be able to produce the amount of Marauders he is intending to this game.
So is this going to overwhelm? Is this is being chronoed out, so there's potentially going to be 2 Stalkers there by the time, but Stalker's not great against Marauders in any form, let alone concussive shell ones. If they chase down the ramp, that could be a problem. If they stick up there, it might be a little bit better.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Hopefully they don't chase too far down that ramp, because they will absolutely get stuck and just blown to pieces here by the concussive shell. Okay, so Robo facility on the way. That is not how you built Tempest, but I'll see how it works. Ooh, that Stalker didn't get the...
Just unprovoked coming down this ramp.
So he really wants to be able to chase it down. You can see the anticipation of MicroMachine running away. Tier's like, "Oh, I know you're going to try to run away from me, so I'm just going to keep diving and shooting and try to stay on top of you." And he does get the 1 Marauder, but as the Marauders start to pile up here, it's going to start to become more and more a problem. We need an Immortal out. That is absolutely the solution.
It needs to basically be chronoed out, or else he's going to end up losing this. So a single Stalker, again, coming down, gets trapped there. So it is underway. Can the probes
actually pull
distraction long enough?
Okay. Yeah, if he can just get the 1 Marauder out, he's fine. Or I'm sorry, one Immortal. Yeah.
Although with five Marauders, though, can even eventually take that out.
That's true.
And he's losing a lot of workers doing this.
Oh, this hurts.
Yeah.
MicroMachine, the author, was saying he's a little bit nervous here, but man, this is looking so good. If he can get that pylon too, that's going to stop any Stalker weapons, but there's just not even going to be enough money for Stalkers. Here we go. The Immortal finally out. Will the probes be enough to tank for 6 Marauders?
Nothing to tank for it. Nothing to tank for it at all, and that's going to override him. GG is called right away.
Wow. What a quick game number one. MicroMachine just absolutely finding the weakness in Tier's play there and is able to just dive in. So now was the I'm assuming the robotics was in response to the Marauders, but was it slow because it was trying to go Tempests originally? You know how we saw it said, Tempests are not OP, or was it just saying that because it just likes Tempests?
I think I'm trying to think what it did in the past, because I think it did in fact do 2-gate Robo Stargate Fleet Beacon before, because it doesn't get anything. Well, maybe it got one Oracle or something, but it wasn't defending itself if it doesn't have the Robo. So I think that may just be a necessary part of it to be alive, and obviously they're not enough to. I think the Stalkers been a little more tentative and tried to keep themselves alive instead of going all the way down, then maybe, because that was really a stall job, that you needed just something in front of the Immortal when it came out. It couldn't be the only thing there. And but all the probes had died and whatever.
Well, and had the Stalkers stayed at the high ground, we have seen MicroMachine not really push up the ramp all the way. He wants to wait until he knows he's got the advantage, and then he'll see him go all the way up the ramp. But those Stalkers, had they just stayed at the top of the ramp, they absolutely could have just kept the Marauders at bay till that Immortal gets out. Then he's not pulling probes, losing mining time. Then he's able to keep, getting more Stalkers to tank for the Immortal, and totally would have gone differently. But as it is, MicroMachine is up one match and is just one match away from moving on to our top three. And Tier needs to pull something out to bring us to an ace match here. I'm curious what we're going to see Tier do. These bots will change their build from game after game depending on whether they win or lose. Depends on the bot, of course. But I think Tier is one of those that changes his builds pretty frequently, right?
Tier has so many builds that I think it does. And I mean, we saw that last week with the Pro Brush being changed. Once it didn't work. So,
all right, well, let's find out what Tier can bring to this to see if we can get to an ace match here on our next map here in this best of three MicroMachine versus Tier right now on ESChamp. Oh, okay. I thought he was doing the proxy cycling. Never mind.
Rap, RR, and Unusuals, MicroMachine. Tier.
Yeah, it tricked me for a second. Here we are on Thunderbird. I thought for a moment MicroMachine was going to go for proxy or for cyclones, but no, he is doing the proxy Marauder build again. We saw that. Is that 2 probes? Oh, Tier.
It is, yeah.
So I was just gonna say in the addition notes, in the upgrade notes for Tier, added a second counter against MicroMachine. And I do believe that is potentially what we're seeing here. This lovely little cannon rush counter. Okay, is this a counter to proxy Marauders?
I think it's just a cannon rush, but yes, it is. I mean, ultimately, it's a fairly decent one, provided. I mean, Marauders not bad at taking out cannons, but if they get down and established, and given that one of them will be proxied, then it just kind of slows things down. And if he doesn't see it and he's not aware of it, then
he's not gonna have anything at home. So the main is gonna. So now, does MicroMachine lift and evacuate the main to a different base? I think he does.
Maybe. Yeah, it might have the coding to do it. The question will be, it's always what's the follow-up on Tier's side? So what does he do on top of this? Also, how aggressive is it with the cannon rush? So in my mind, it's already waited too long to put down the second cannons. It'll probably be fine anyway, but like that next wave should be there. Like
he's really that's a weird place.
Super tentative. Yeah, so this is super tentative already.
I guess he's anticipating MicroMachine to see it, and he really wants to make sure they get out before he starts pushing towards the command center there. Interesting. He needs a cannon at home, is what he needs.
Yeah, definitely, and I don't know if he's gonna get it.
It's not looking like it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Another cannon can come down soon. There we go. Okay, so this one is now going to be in range, and we see some SCVs coming.
See, the funny part is this, which is like none of this makes any sense. And
the cannons aren't even in range.
Yeah.
Okay, now they are. Now it's starting to make sense. Now it works. Okay, the SCVs choose the pylons to attack instead of the cannons, so the cannons are actually going to kill a lot of workers here.
See, now here's me thinking like a human.
Not
figuring that. Yeah, exactly. That this is just a.
Look at the SCV bodies fly.
Yeah. Okay. So 6 workers.
The ragdolls in this game are so good.
All right.
How many? That was a lot of workers that just went down. Pretty much all of them.
Yeah. So 5 left. Are they going to recoup and go back after it too? Like, are they going to try and repair themselves and just kill themselves again?
So this is already drastically changing it. We see now 3 Marauders at home, too afraid to deal with this. Only 2 Marauders across the map.
Exactly
That's not going to kill Tier.
Yeah. And if it continues to be a magnet like this, where any new SCV just goes to attack, because these other ones are only mining because they're hurt.
Oh, you're right. No, there's one.
Well, the ones that are on.
Look at the unwounded one. He's freaking out.
Yeah,
what is going on?
He's not doing anything.
He is having some PTSD after watching all his SCV's friends die to the cannons there.
The gas ones there.
Go to that. Oh, there's 2 of them doing it. What is going on?
See, because they're attacking, but they're not attacking. Like, they're with these Marauders. But yeah, okay. And then that Stalker's doing something. Okay.
Try to poke down the wall. He will not last long though, and does die. The Mule just went off to the corner to die as well.
Okay.
Now
so
this SCV's getting pulled.
Break in here now. Finally gets enough to rally through. Back up to 9 workers to only 19 on Tier's side. So again, we talked about the follow-up. You still got to do a follow-up, and I don't know that it is.
Oh no, Tier, don't do this. Tier is not, I think, doing it correctly now. We see Stalkers going down. There are 2 now at the front, and they should be able to pick off at least 1 or 2 of those Marauders, hopefully. But
so I think both of them are just broken.
Yeah, this is they're struggle busting.
Yeah, there we go. These SCVs that are kind of pulled off duty is going to make a pretty big difference.
Okay, I think Tier's got this. Yeah, just no economy really for MicroMachine.
Yeah.
He does have some Mule income, and he is able to keep producing a Marauder here or there, but he is so slowed down. But again, I say that Tier is also only on 1 base, so he's just trickling across Stalkers that are kind of dying to these Marauders.
Yeah. See, the worker count is recovering for MicroMachine. Tier is just not advancing in the world, sticking at the 19 workers, and there's still a clock on that where it stops working. Like, the Marauders are so much better that eventually they could do some damage, but it's the economy to support their construction that's not even there.
Yeah, we're at definitely a phase of the game we don't see that often where one bot really, MicroMachine is pretty much crippled. Not crippled, but he's got some broken bones, but he's still able to keep producing, and he's still fighting against Tier, who's just kind of trickling a Stalker across here or there. So it's both bots are just kind of in this limbo area where they neither one can really progress past this point.
Okay, it needs to kill this supply depot, then I think we're good.
There it is. No more Marauders for you.
Yeah. So I think this will be a game changer here, because that may be the last Marauder to come out for a while. This one engaged. Depot. Yeah. Okay. These ones on the other side now starting to cut off the reinforcements.
I think Tier's got this because there's no healing.
Yeah.
If there was a medevac, this would be totally different. But since there's no medevac, kind of like we saw in the other game, it's just the war of attrition where eventually the Marauders will die off because they just can't heal.
Stalkers heal, Marauders do not.
Stalkers get those shields back, I think Tier's bringing us to an ace match. There are a lot of Stalkers out now. 22 army supply to 9. The Reaper's coming in trying to get something done, but there's just too many Stalkers on his tail. And I think we've got an ace match once these Stalkers go up the ramp here. There we go. They love to block the other units, but it kind of works out because more units start to clump up behind them, and then when he finally does push up, there's just too much. So, well done, Tier. is going to tie up our series here. And we've got another ace match. That's 2 ace matches in one night, Endersword.
It sure is. This is very unusual for our body nature
That's awesome.
to do that.
Yeah, we've only had, here, let's see, 1, 2. We've only had 2 other, we've had as many ace matches tonight as we have through the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So awesome stuff. We are going to be moving on to that game 3 in just a moment. Things very evenly matched between these two, but not for really the reasons I think we were anticipating. More for just
it's build order. Yeah, build order stuff here. Tier definitely again it had me nervous that it wasn't going to do like it just had no follow up. It was just like stalkers, it'll be fine. Like I think when you're going to do that sort of thing, like it's giving you a massive advantage, but it's got to jump then on that advantage to go a little further. It can't just get stuck on 19 workers and call it a day. But I was kind of confused for why the cannons were so far back. And this is kind of why it was never intended to actually attack the command center. It was intended to bait them over.
Yeah, it didn't work, but then it worked kind of thing. But yeah, it worked well. The SCVs obviously targeting the pylons.
Yeah.
I figured MicroMachine of all bots would be able to just, I need to get on these, but maybe they realized that there wasn't enough surface area on the cannons because they would have died just trying to, clump up and only have 2 attack at the same time. So maybe they recognize, if I kill the pylons, then who knows? These bots are so advanced. They're well beyond my capabilities.
Doing stuff. Doing things.
So many bugs that game that the author doesn't even know where to start.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Game 3 is going to be exciting. We'll see if Tier changes up his build yet again or decides to go with that strat since it worked out. And we'll see if MicroMachine can survive the bug storm and just see if it can just work properly. Because if MicroMachine works properly, I think it's moving on. I think MicroMachine's too good at holding most cheeses. Obviously, Tier can still make miracles happen, but it's going to be a close game either way. We'll see. All right, definitely. 15 seconds. We're hopping into game number 3. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Season 2 of ESChamp's ProBots here in 2020. This is going to be our final game of the night to decide who will be moving on and who will get 4th place. Right here, right now, let's hop into the game.
Rap RR and Unusuals MicroMachine. Tier.
I think we all knew it was inevitable that we were going to see the Forge Rush again. Wait, where's that other probe going?
Elsewhere.
So MicroMachine's going to early expand.
Yeah. Is Tier gonna... there's a lot of things this could be up to, but yeah, it is the Forge. Not sure. I guess it's just looking for a proxy or something. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess,
yeah. So I guess that's okay. The first probe will get in here, make his way into the base, and start doing stuff. Is it going to find a good spot? The SCV chases it this time.
Ooh, yeah, that's big. This could... stay with him, SCV. Stay with him. Okay, here we go. Yeah, this might... Oh, no, go back, SCVs.
They
came to help, but then we're like, oh, no, he's got this.
Yeah, what's up with this? Okay, so...
That SCV's got
single
it.
pylon, why worry about it? So maybe they'll overreact once they see cannons instead of just the pylon. Because if they come the moment the actual cannon is down and there's only one of them, and if this probe gets stuck there...
Oh, no, the probe's not mineral walking.
Yeah.
Mineral walk probe. Oh, he goes down, and I think the cannon's going to die, too.
It will. I think he's calculated this out. That's the appropriate number.
Well, is it?
Yeah, it'll get it.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Sure. I don't know.
Maybe not.
I love how the probe for Tier is just constantly looking for that proxy.
Stuff adding. I think it will get it before it. No? Okay. It missed by
it will.
it was like 8 hit points wrong. Yeah.
So close. But still, didn't lose an SCV, I don't think, to it there. So well done. Nicely held. Beautifully held out of MicroMachine. And with an early expand build, that is exactly what you want to do. Because now, if he can early expand, he is just going to be so far ahead of what Tier's got. Tier is going to try to get out of this. He's got the Cybercore on the way. But we'll see if a Nexus comes down anytime soon.
And the really big key is, does Tier get out of it, in that he actually goes beyond the original worker count, and it's not adding on right now.
Oh, that's true. Oh, no, he just did. As you say it.
Yeah. He is, but he's also losing workers. So if he's only replacing these, then this is pretty bad. He's also not building a unit. There's no cannon on the way. This Reaper's just killing things for the next 40 seconds.
Did shutting down that cannon just break everything?
Kinda.
Not everything, but
he's making a stalker that's eventually going to work, but he's going to lose another 4 or 5 probes before that happens.
Oh, this is dirty.
Yeah.
MicroMachine is putting himself in a possibly insurmountable position here as Marauders start to come across the map. They weren't proxied this time because they didn't need to be. Just an awesome hold from that cannon rush. I think might have just won MicroMachine his 3rd spot position. Well, not 3rd spot yet, but able to move on to the finals.
Okay, so Stalker's trapping this will help, but so getting that is at least good. Ends the harassment for now.
Oh, did MicroMachine harvest? I think he harvested the minerals of the little wall in his main for whatever reason. I didn't notice it at first, but yeah. Well, we've seen that out of other bots too, when they're trying to do something, but then it just ends up not working. This wall seems to be this map, Golden Wall, seems to be a little bit trickier for the bots sometimes.
Yeah, because of these site blockers here.
I love the site blockers. It's already making this fight a little bit more interesting, but the Marauders still gonna clean house here.
Will indeed get through, and it's gonna. So we back up to 18 workers. Is he gonna continue on after this?
I think the Marauders are just going to be too much.
I think it may be the case too. And if he's not adding on other tech, if he's not basically adding to this, and he's not so far, then this may be it right here.
Well, it's what we saw last game was the cannon rush, and then the follow up of just nonstop stalkers, which was finally able to break through the Marauders because there was no healing. But this game, so many workers went down just a little bit ago. Yeah. The stalker production is almost non-existent.
Yeah, he's got the 3 gateways, but can't support it.
One stalker pops out and then can't even afford a new one yet.
Yeah.
So I think that's just going to do it. The probes are never going to win a battle against Marauders with concussive shell. Maybe just maybe if a couple stalkers get out, they can push this back. But back at home, MicroMachines already on 2 bases. Cloak Banshees on the way, and there is 0 answer for Cloak Banshees. There's not even a cannon in the main.
Oh yeah, and it doesn't really look like there's any plan to build anything else. I think it will be like the last game, even if he somehow stabilizes, which he's not going to at this point.
No.
So I think this, I predict essentially that this Marauder won't even die. I think this is it.
Oh, with the Reaper here now, especially, there's no way. Stalker pops out warps in to die instantly, and that's it. We just sped through the quick little end there, but MicroMachine is moving on, and Tier is our 4th place bot here in Season 2 of 2020. So congratulations to him for getting that. Not bad. Tier always at least gets the top 4.
Yeah.
Always at least gets that.
Indeed.
Good stuff. Well, we've got our finals lined up. Ladies and gentlemen, our top 3 bots, we've got Spiny, we've got the Harvester, and we have now got MicroMachine joining the ranks to join us on Saturday, September 12th. That is next week here on ESChamp. Make sure you hit the bell icon, hit the like button below the little thumbs up button. Make sure you tune back in on Saturday because we're going to have an awesome grand finals, as well as our humans versus bots show match, which is always a lot of fun. And here we see MicroMachine versus Tier. MicroMachine will be moving on. And then we'll decide who MicroMachine is going to be going up against once we see our first match of Saturday, which will be Spiny versus the Harvester. Do you have any thoughts on that one coming up?
That one, both of them are pretty impressive. The one that we haven't really seen, I think, pushed to its limits yet is Spiny, because essentially when Spiny was up against Tier kind of did Tier things, where it was a little bit trolly. It kind of just did the same thing twice. It ultimately lost to the Roach Ravager Rush, but it like didn't have any anti-corrosive biologic, so it just kind of rolled over to that a little bit. So yeah, I kind of want to see if someone's more prepared for that, what's that going to look like against Spiny. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, impressive though still. So yeah, I don't really know, but I might have to pick the Harvester as the winner.
Well, and we haven't even seen the updates. I'm assuming Spiny and the Harvester will both be updated for next week. Their updates are already submitted as far as I know. But we'll be talking about those and seeing what those are next week on Saturday. So again, be sure you check out our live finals there. And we are going to be doing another little post-bot show here once our broadcast is done in just a couple minutes. And we've even got one of our bot makers, Raf RR, one of the authors of MicroMachine, will be joining us.
Well, now I'm glad he won.
Yeah, well, he's saying, he feels good to get revenge on Tier there because he did lose to Tier in the upper bracket earlier in the season. So we're going to get his thoughts and talk about that. So if you want to see our bonus content, it is exclusive at the moment for our Crown Club members. So make sure you check out the link in the description below to see how you can become a Crown Club member today. Let's go ahead and do one more Crown Club shout out for one of our awesome members, because without you guys, I mean, we'd probably find a way to make this happen, but you make this happen so much easier and more effectively. So thank you to our whole Crown Club, but let's go ahead and shout one out right now. Thank you, Marco. Awesome stuff. What?
Polo.
Oh. All right, we're done in the stream. That's it. We're never coming back. No. Thank you all so much for being here. This was an awesome night of ProBots. Again, we're going to wrap things up here, do our little post-bot show. So again, check out that Crown Club membership to see how you can support ESChamp and future seasons of ProBots. If you are an aspiring bot maker, make sure you check out AIarena.net to see how you can make a bot and get involved and potentially qualify for a future season of ProBots. It's always fun when we get new bots in here, see some new talent and new builds, new ideas. It's always good stuff. And yeah, big shout out to all of our bot authors this season. You all did so well, but only the 3 top bots do remain. And we're going to be watching them again Saturday the 12th here on ESChamp. Make sure you tune in for that. You can also become a YouTube sub. We are now exclusively streaming on YouTube. So thank you for helping us with that transition. And hopefully you are enjoying the content here. We are going to be releasing some more content as well once the season wraps up. So make sure you hit the little bell icon, little follow, whatever it is here on YouTube, so you can get notified when we do release some content. And yeah, it's been a fun time. Endersword, thank you for being here as always. Good stuff. I'm excited to watch you go up against these bots and defend humanity once more.
Always a fun time. I should get some practice in.
Yeah, definitely. Because a week away, better hurry.
Yeah, I'm just gonna play the easy AI over and over and hope that they do the same thing.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same level, right?
Yeah,
these bots are up to Grandmaster level almost. I would say they're right on the cusp of, because they were beating some Masters just last season.
Exactly. So, I think if you're unfamiliar with a lot of the things, also I think as they play a little more just conventionally mid-game strong, then it's harder to duck them or like do something cheesy against them.
Indeed. Well, tune in next week on Saturday to find out who our top bot will be this season. It's going to be a lot of fun. And thank you all again for joining us. We're going to wrap things up, so we'll see you then. Have a great night, everybody.
Is that your catchphrase?